All right, gentlemen, a day late, but welcome, episode 13. Knights of the Square Tablet.
Something like
It's
that.
been it's
Yeah.
been a while. It's been a while. We haven't had one for a few weeks because Stormbanner gave us nothing to work from. But August has officially ended, and we have patch 2.9, the reclamation of Montcrux. So we got Scotty Games, we got Dave the coach, and we're gonna give some in-depth analysis and opinions on the new patch. So I mean, let's start off right. Let's jump right in. New content. Reclamation of Montcrux. What do we think?
Yeah, my feeling too,
boy.
man. It's I think it's one of the worst patches to come out. Probably the worst, just because I don't know. I think I always say, like, I've been saying that the combat changes are all right and the new skins are great, but everything else surrounding it, like no new weapon to explore except for crossbow, but nobody really cares about that. And then, like, there's just been all the issues. The new map is not playable in 64-man. PS4 players couldn't log in for like 5 days. I'm getting stutters. I have to restart the game constantly. that's
Okay.
that's my feelings. But like overall, it's been it's we knew we expected this. You know, I wasn't expecting anything, right? But I
I
don't know.
think 5 out of 10. And that sounds like a really bad rating, but I would give other Chivalry updates worse. I don't think that this was the worst update that we've gotten.
What was worse?
Well, I actually think that 2.8 was worse. I think that it was worse. If you noticed, all the combat changes in this update were just reverting the changes made in 2.8. So obviously, I hated all the changes in 2.8. So did a lot of other people. So obviously, I'm going to think that update's worse. Also, the update was just straight up more broken. 2.8 was more broken than 2.9. 2.9 is actually relatively one of the more stable patches, even with the stuttering issues that some people are having. If you compare it to Fight Night or other updates, this one released pretty not broken. So I'll give them kudos on that. I shouldn't have to give them
After
kudos.
6 months, it better not be broken.
Yeah,
They've been
I
fixing
shouldn't.
it
I
for,
shouldn't have to give
a
them
long
kudos
time.
on that. But hey, I mean, we complained about patches not being stable, and this one was kind of stable. Kind of, though. I'll get into that after. Strata, you go ahead and give your thoughts.
No, it's about what I expected. I think it's mostly, to me, it's a nothing burger overall. A map that we kind of knew wasn't going to be it. And it's a map that I'm sure after a few more playthroughs, I'm going to be screaming and smashing my mouse over, like getting stuck on rocks. But so it's a map that I'm probably not going to be that interested in playing. We have a weapon I will never use. And I do like the battle pass. There's some good skins in that, but that'll keep me. I'm sure Scotty's already finished it.
Yeah. I finished it.
Yeah, so
a couple days ago.
it'll
Yeah.
probably keep me occupied for another week or so. But
Yeah, it actually took a little bit longer than the other ones, and it was working, so that's good.
yeah, it's got some great skins.
Yeah.
And the combat changes, I'm happy to see. I mean, yeah, I'm not like one of those people that notices everything. Like, to
What
an
do you
extreme
What do you think
degree.
about the stab changes? I know that you were like.
Let's
super
hold that off.
against them.
Actually,
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go down the list of like.
Let's go down.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
list.
You know,
All right,
there
yeah.
are the
All right,
different
so-
things in the update.
Yeah. Let's keep it focused then. Let's start with the map. Okay, we all said that the map was a little and I think we knew that from the test server. I didn't play it, but you guys gave me a full rundown. So, oh man, it's fucking short. It's fucking short, guys.
This map is shorter than Bridgetown. This is a map with 4 objectives. The shortest map that we've ever gotten. It might actually not be the smallest size, but it definitely is the shortest map in terms of objectives and, in my opinion, the work that they put into it. I think that it's especially noteworthy how they try to artificially extend the map by making each objective extremely difficult to complete, but giving you like a 10-minute timer on each one. So that way it's like, even though 4 objectives, potentially like a 40-minute match. And that's like, is that good? Is that really like, is that how we want it in the future? I don't think so.
it can also potentially be a 4-minute match when you get a really stacked attack team that knows what
Exactly.
they're doing too. Because
Yes,
I know I've had people come back and
was
tell
gonna
me
say.
like, "Yo, we sped run this in like a minute and a half." I'm like, "Oh my god."
I've won on defense every single time, and when I was on attack, I got moved to defense.
That's the thing. The map is so defense-sided because they made it like that. That way the map wouldn't be completed instantly for every single match. And it's like, does that make the map unhealthy? Because now, if I'm a good player and I'm on defense, is it just like I'm never going to get pushed past the first objective? That's what it feels like. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first objective, it just feels terrible. I will say, at least this map looks good to me. It looks like the Kingdom of Heaven movie, like a castle you would see in that.
Yeah, it looks
so
great.
I'll give
Looks
him credit
great,
on that.
yeah.
I think it looks the part.
I agree. This map looks really good.
Yeah, it looks wonderful. The details and stuff, everything there.
This
But
map looks like more of a desert than the Tenosian maps. The
Yeah,
Tenosian
yeah.
maps,
Yeah, 100%.
The Tenosian maps look like a Hollywood like movie desert, which isn't bad. They don't look bad at all. I'm just saying. But when I was in Montcrux, that reminded me of a lot of different forts that I went to when I was in Israel. I already said this last time we talked about the map, but like it actually really reminded me of like real Byzantine forts in real life. Like if you look at those and if you've been there, it's really cool. Honestly,
No,
looks great.
100%. It looks really great. But once you start playing it, it has all the things that make Chivalry frustrating right from the start of the game. And you started off by the attack being at the bottom of the hill and having to go up.
Elevation,
Getting ballistic.
elevation changes.
Yeah. I'm gonna
my-
get it. I'm gonna get into that. But so going up something in Chivalry, whenever there is a height differential, it fucks the combat. Right, even if you're fighting on the ramps and like lion spires or something, it fucks the combat. Hit detection doesn't work. The combat doesn't work. So you already have that. Then you throw in a bunch of rocks that I could walk over very easily. Dave could walk over. Scotty could walk over. But my character can't fucking walk over them. So you got to look straight down at the ground the whole time as you're fighting. And then you add into that, I think, 7 ballistas shooting at you.
My friends
as
and I were
you-
joking that this is medieval D-Day. You are running up the hill with a petard. You're carrying the petard like this, and then you run up the hill. You get shot at by a ballista. The petard that you're carrying rolls down the hill.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit. These maps are so, like, it's so difficult. It's so stacked against you. And a lot of people were talking on Reddit. Now, I didn't see this because we haven't played a comp match on it yet. But apparently, if defense is using field engineers, there's no way you're winning on attack. There's no way. Because the objectives are made like such tunnels that you can't do anything. And it's just, that sucks. That sucks.
No, I agree. And then you get past point number 1. I got past it on my first match, and I've only played it a few times, so I was lucky to get to the end. But then it's you have to climb up all the ladders, which is irritating as fuck. Every time you die, you got to come back and climb the ladders. And what do you have to do? You have to like plant something at that one. Maybe I don't remember. I think it's blowing shit up again.
There's objective 1, push the carts. Objective 2, plant the
Blow up the
petards.
walls, yeah.
Objective 3, turn the crank, and then objective 4, plant the 2 bombs.
Okay, turn the crank. That's the one you got to go up the ladders for. Turn the crank. Yes.
And
You know, that's not
just-
only ladders, but yes.
What's funny is like we're destroying like an already pretty much half destroyed like castle.
Yeah.
Everything's like already
It's
kind of
the map is called the reclamation of, but we're completely destroying this fort.
yeah.
We're destroying it. It's like, bro, what are we reclaiming? I don't know. It doesn't feel like much of a reclamation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It does, even in the fights, even though it's sure to complain about all that, even in the I guess, what is it, 40 player only mode, it still feels very congested on those last 2 points in the fights. There's not a lot of room to go around.
Just like Bridgetown, this
and
map
move,
feels like
yeah.
it was made for a smaller player count.
100%. I'm curious to see when it actually gets on 64 player servers.
That's why I really don't have that many opinions on it yet, because it's like until when you do the test map, they don't really feel like real matches really, because like it's either like higher level people testing out the map or people just stopping in, and it's not like a normal full game all the time.
But it's out now for good, and you can play the noobs on it.
Yeah, but it's not in the 64 man
Scotty
rotation.
wants it at 64.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see. Okay.
And
He
it
won't-
doesn't
he won't
like the
give a
games
full
don't
opinion to
feel natural. They feel like
Okay.
you're encountering people that I feel like that don't normally play.
I think in 64 it's gonna be very jam packed with how tight it is on some of those early objectives where you got to go through those little corridors, and then even the last two. There's not a lot of space there.
Well, let's
fight,
talk about the issues here, right? Why is it not in the 64 player? Apparently, it was, but it had horses enabled. So when they released this update, they forgot to
happened?
Yes, they forgot to remove the horses from the 64 player version. Now, instead of releasing a patch where they take the horses out of the 64 player version, they just removed the map from 64 player.
Yeah, dude.
What?
Reap totally was in my chat and was like, yo, I saw horses in 64 man on this map. And I was like, dude, nah.
Scotty would have been having
like,
It's true. It's true. So they actually had 60 horses in 64 player. And now, obviously, they made this decision because it was only what they were capable of, right? Perhaps they can't remove the horses without making a patch, so they didn't. Mm-hmm. And so they decided to just take it out of the rotation because they could probably do that without actually updating the game.
Right,
but
right.
It's still so stupid. Like, are you telling me that they didn't remember to remove the horses?
Six months to prepare it.
And wait, how did it run? How did it run with the horses?
That's the. Well, I'm assuming that it ran badly. Otherwise, why would they remove it? And furthermore, it's like Strida. I don't think they were necessarily working on this update for that long, because they claimed that they had a validation issue or something. So perhaps this version that you're playing has been finished for like 3 months. And so they've already moved past that. But still, it's like they didn't even comment on this. All of this that I just explained to you just happened, and like no one said anything about it. So it's like, again, no communication, silly mistake. And now that's why it's not in 64 player, because they forgot to make a 64 player version with no horses. Like, what? It's so silly.
It's pretty hilarious, honestly. But yeah, I mean,
typical, dude. Typical.
Yeah, typical Torn Banner L. I mean, it's about expected. If I remember correctly, when Bridgetown came out, it immediately got removed from 64 too. I don't remember why, but that was a thing, correct?
I don't know.
I don't remember that, to be honest. Maybe
I could be wrong.
I remember like the worst part about that update was how poorly the performance was, and it's still pretty bad. It's still not up to snuff with the original maps. Like, it's actually a crazy difference lately. I think Bridgetown has gotten worse after this update, actually. Like, every time I play it now, I feel like my frames are like worse than they were. Just big battles in general that are not on the oldest maps.
Montcrux also is not too optimized.
Yeah,
I haven't played it enough to really have.
I'm not happy with that, because every single map that releases now releases unoptimized, and then we get an optimization patch eventually later on. That's not a healthy way to do things. Thaic released unoptimized, they fixed it later. Fixed. Bridgetown released unoptimized, they fixed it later. This map released unoptimized. It's exhausting. Stop. Enough. You can release a map optimized, and if you can't, don't. There are other things we want besides TO maps. We did not ask you to spam TO maps every update. So if you're going to, at least make it to where they work.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see better TL maps. That's what I'm going for. So I heard the next one is going to be it.
Yeah,
so that's rumor.
This wasn't the real update.
On top of that, Strida, they're getting smaller, but they're running worse. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
silly.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
I understand they have a lot of cool, particles and effects with the like explosions that naturally like have the physics to their little pieces and stuff, but that is not worth it. I'd rather not have that at all if it means the map will run better. I know that they worked really hard on that stuff since the Galencourt, and they have been trying to use it in more and more maps, but if it's just going to break your game, then don't do that, dude. It's not worth it. So in general, I think the map is an L, relatively speaking.
I agree.
Graphically, it looks nice. And
yeah, I mean, look, at least I always said Bridgetown I hated, and it looks like absolute dog shit for some reason. At least Montcrux looks good. Like, I don't know what happened with Bridgetown. I still don't understand why
Montcrux looks nice. Yeah, it needs to be longer, though. It needs to be longer.
And trees and
there's something wrong with the textures. There's no texture on the stuff.
Yeah. It does look weird. It's like a really cool design for the map, but the execution is like They did a great job on Montcrux, and maybe that's why there's no optimization on it, because
Not
it looks
enough.
decent.
Not enough.
But
Bridgetown takes place on Bridgetown.
yeah,
You're on the Bridgetown for like 5 minutes in Bridgetown.
I love the idea of the fights in the vine fields when they like announced it, but it just in actual play.
yeah. There's too much peasant. You just
Yeah.
kind of get slapped, and then
Yeah, exactly. You just race through the fields as you get slapped.
yeah.
Whatever.
But
I don't know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but
Montcrux,
this is
whatever.
This is why I'm like, dude, this has been the worst patch for me, because I've also noticed like other bugs, like the Rudhelm gate just remaining closed.
I'll say this. I'll say this, right? Obviously, no one cares besides me. The horses on Montcrux are done decently. They are used on the first and second objectives, and then they don't try and force them on the third or fourth. They're like, all right, the horse parts of the map's
Well,
done.
yeah.
We're good. That's how horses should be done. They should be on very specific objectives, and then they should stop on the objectives that they don't belong.
the
So
first
that's-
time I did play
good.
it, I did say who would ride a horse on that fucking terrain. It didn't seem too real, but I guess it worked.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
did. But speaking of slapping, we got a new weapon. I've obviously never used it.
I used
I've
it.
heard it doesn't necessarily work as intended, but I have no idea
We'll get to that.
much about it. But Dave has done a deep dive into the siege crossbow, so I'm
Yes.
sure he can kind of.
I have a guide out, and I've actually gotten tons of mean comments because my guide was based on the version that was in the test, which was not broken. Now it's broken. So there you go. The siege crossbow is a slightly more powerful version of the crossbow with a longer reload but more base damage. And I like it. I think it's a good weapon addition. They should have added it along with an actual melee weapon, but whatever. Waiting half a year for an archer weapon is a little bit disheartening. I like the projectile speed, the arc. It's fun to use, and it's definitely welcome since crossbowman only has one weapon, so now he has two. But its main functionality was that it was able to damage and break constructibles. At the moment, it can't. So this is just, I guess, an alternate version of the crossbow now. Also, no comment on that from Torn Banner. Took multiple days for anyone to find out. Torn Banner completely silent on this issue. Do they know that it's broken? I think so, but you wouldn't know if they did.
I'm sure they do. The devs, this came up yesterday. I was just chatting a little bit about the game, and the devs have gone radio silent in general. So we're not sure if that's because Jen is not there and no one's gonna take the.
We don't have a community manager, so it
Yeah,
makes sense
so-
that there's no one to manage us. If it was working as intended, it would be very cool. There's a lot of competitive implications with this weapon, which I'm very fond of, like damaging like for example, an archer could actually take down a banner that a guardian places from like a mile away now with this weapon. That's really cool. Or he could break engineer walls. You know, let's say his team is hitting the walls in the front, he could aim at the walls in the back to help them out. And also, once it breaks those constructibles, the arrow actually passes through and will hurt whoever's behind them. That's really cool.
Dave, do you think it's going to be like a viable competitive thing to have someone sitting in the back just breaking barriers, or?
I do. Not
do?
just barriers, but also catapults, ballistas, banners. It's like there's a lot of things that you would want them to break.
It
with
seems to
this
me
weapon.
it would be OP for taking out catapults on certain points.
Yes,
Like if
especially
you could shoot
because
them from 100 yards away and just destroy them.
Yeah, it doesn't just shoot them and damage them. It damages them for a lot. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, it does like 100 damage per bolt. I don't know if that's the exact number. Obviously, they could have changed it, or they could have just decided that they're not going to let it damage anything anymore if they feel like it. But I think it'll be really good because it takes out banners in 2 shots. So that means it takes a total of like 5 or 6 seconds for a siege crossbow to take down a guardian banner. And I think for that reason alone, taking down banners and catapults, it's already like top tier. Because taking out catapults is a really big like issue for a lot of teams. It's very hard. The only thing is it does not damage objectives. So for some catapults, I don't think it will break them, like the ones on Thaig Stronghold or the ones on Rudhelm. But for some, like the one on Line Spire, I think it will destroy them because that's not directly an objective, even if it is used to damage an objective. But I don't know. They could change it. They could keep it. If it works like it did in the playtest when they fix it, that would be nice. But also that brings me to the point of, it's broken. And no comment on Torn Banner. No comment on when we can expect a patch to fix it. Nothing.
I've seen very few people actually run it in the game, so I only really recall seeing one person running it.
Because its DPS is kind of bad. It's basically like worse than the crossbow in terms of its ability to damage people quickly. But that ability to break stuff is its saving grace. So since that doesn't work right now, it's like, why am I going to run it?
The skins for it look pretty sweet.
It looks okay. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's whatever. I think they did a good job with it. I don't think that we should have waited 6 months for only one archer weapon and nothing else.
Well, it also feels a little bad because we know that the weapon's been done in some form for like 2 years. So
yes, that too.
It almost feels like hey, what do we got? All right, let's just throw this out there.
And it still doesn't really work.
Yeah,
it still doesn't work.
It still doesn't work.
I would have preferred a sling. I've talked about this a lot. If we were to get an archer weapon, I would have liked a sling or something. But there are other weapons that we want more than a siege crossbow. So.
No, 100%. All right. Well, Scotty mentioned skins. We got a new battle pass, and I think it's pretty par for the course. There's a mix of really, really cool skins, a mix of kind of meh stuff, a mix of stuff that was reskinned from previous things, and then your normal voice lines and coins and all that. So what do we think of the battle pass?
Yeah, I think it's all right. I think the new skins like the Plague Doctor Damask are pretty sweet. We also got all the helms from the Steam release because I only stayed on Epic, so that's been cool. I've gotten all those skins. The Templar armor is probably the coolest looking armor in the game, in my opinion. The one at the end of the battle pass for Agatha. The sword weapon skins, I don't know. They all look great, man. They all look great to me, and it's just like a normal battle pass. The battle pass actually functioned correctly, showed the experience right. The skins don't really have any bugs that I know of, so that's good. Remember when the maul came out, and every time you threw it, it would just sink into the ground. But so yeah, we haven't seen any of that. Things work. I think it's been all right. What do you guys think?
I like some of the skins. I want to say I've never liked any Footman skin in the game. I hate every Footman skin for Mason and Agatha, up until the one that they just put in the Battle Pass that looks a lot more like a knight is badass. I love it. And
I was just about to say, I'm already to you all. Look,
love it.
I'm tilted. I'm waiting for you guys to finish so I can explode.
Oh boy, yeah, and I love the one-handed sword. I like the spiked warhammer, and then the Templar armor is sick. So I'm happy with that part, and I'm happy for something to do. I mean, it's par for the course to most battle passes, where you gotta go through a little bit of shit to get the good stuff, and it's kind of sprinkled in. But you get there, and then at least you're happy for it. I think for us, we all get them for free at this point now, so you might as well. All right, Dave.
Listen,
Dave's gonna come in hot here.
Yes. First off, let me say the good stuff. Okay. All of the cosmetics look great. Everyone who worked on the actual armor sets, weapon skins, even the nicknames, right? They should all be proud. They made really good looking cosmetics, and they're high quality. They work with the heraldry. Good, right? You all are talented. Whoever works at Torn Banner who did all those things, you should be proud. Now, this new battle pass, it only has 2 new armor sets. That's it. Same thing as the last battle pass. That's not good. And they'll try and say oh, David, what are you talking about? It has 6 armor sets. Bullshit. Bullshit. Okay? That new Footman armor set is just the knight armor set, but changed a little bit. That's so dumb. I looked at my friend when he equipped that. I'm like, dude, why are you using a halberd? You're playing knight. He's like, I'm not a knight. I'm a Pullman. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You look exactly like a knight. He's like, no, dude, I'm a Pullman. I'm like, dude, they did the same exact thing with the last update. Same armor set changed slightly, and then they put it on Footman and Knight, and now they're doing it again. It's bullshit. Stop doing that. It's annoying. It's like, just if you have one armor set, just keep it on that class and call it a day. we have no reason to have multiple armor sets on on the same armor set on different classes. It's like trying to cheat me into thinking that I'm getting more bang for my buck. I'm not. It's just you're just copy pasting. That new footman armor set that you said looks good. That should just be an alternate version.
Which one was it originally?
It's the knight one. The knight one and the footman one that you got in the battle pass are basically the same, like actual torso, and then they just changed the boots and they changed the head, and that's it. But it's like the same thing, just changed slightly. Just make those variants of the same armor set on the knight and call it a day. Because I kind of like to know what class I'm fighting, and it actually just looks so much like a knight that it's stupid. And of course, it looks like a knight. He's the same exact armor set as the knight.
That's why I like it, because it looks like a knight. I hate the footman shit.
I know. There's a lot of little like rules that they have when designing these armor sets. And so, like for example, the footman is never supposed to be wearing full plate armor, but in this one, he's just wearing like basically all plate armor. They just like removed some of it, but it's still the same exact plate, as armor that the knight has, so it just looks like a knight. It's really bad. I don't like that. But obviously it actually looks really cool. These are a lot of like people's new favorite armor set, and they're very high quality. It's just I really wish they didn't copy paste them. And in general, I think that battle passers should have at least 3 armor sets. 2, in my opinion, isn't enough. And the Vanguard one, I don't think it's nice. It's okay. The knight and footman one looks great.
It's pretty much exactly what we've been getting. There's nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had the same complaint with Bridgetown. Basically, good high quality armor sets and cosmetics. Stop copy pasting, and then I'll be even happier.
I feel like I got more because I got all the skins that were on the Steam side, and I was like, "Oh, look at all these new helmets now!" Look at that.
I think the battle pass is good. They did a good job, but that stupid copy pasting it just makes me not happy about something that I normally would have been happy about. So, I don't know.
What did you think of the weapon skins, Dave?
Good. I think the sword one is good. I do think they should do a little bit of a better job at keeping the weapon skin within the hitbox of the weapon, instead of just like making the skin completely off of the, model. But I still think that, like I said before, the designs are good. The people who made them should be proud that they made something cool. I just wish that they represented the hitboxes a little better. Because there's some weapon skins that are totally different from the actual hitbox of the weapon, and that's just stupid.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, I to me, it was par for the course. It was about expected. I thought the Galen Court sets were a little bit extreme to like that was just straight, like they pulled a set that we already have and threw it in the past. That was to me the most egregious one. Content
drip feed. They had those done for months and months, or even over a year.
Probably years, right?
Yeah, and then they just feed it to you. Not happy about that either, but they look nice, so it's fine.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I feel like, to me at least, like the battle pass gave me something to do. So I bought one when it came out, so now it's just like whatever to me. But I still don't understand why they don't have the Fortnite model going, where they're releasing like multiple skin sets every single month and just selling them in the shop straight up.
They can't put updates out without it being a big everything has to go.
I feel
in
like
updates.
it's gotten to the point where like they're trying to save money, and I don't know why. But they're just like, updates come so slowly, even patches. So we have like an update right now where the new weapon they added doesn't even work, and they refuse to patch it. I'm assuming to save money, so they can include the fix with bug fixes and stuff like that. And it's like, dude.
Yeah, I just want to like peek into their office for like a day as a fly on the wall and just like
it would
see
be really
what's going
interesting.
On. Like, are they having like huge technical issues pushing to every platform all at once? And is that just like a task that's hard for them? Do they want to save money? Even though I feel like the game got a lot of sales. I don't know.
Well, they have a lot of employees too, so I imagine like
they must
when you're paying 100 employees, I'm assuming they're all making a decent adult salary.
I mean,
I'm
maybe
sure
they
overhired
overhired or something. You would feel like the updates would be higher quality with a bigger team, but we've discussed this many a time before.
I mean.
They're working on
the next one. We know that. It does sound like they brought the A team back for the next update, though. I think they know it's got to be good if they're gonna maintain people but we will see. But the meat of the update is definitely the combat changes, the stuff that's not the first thing that they say, but there were some pretty significant changes taking
Yeah, I was gonna
place.
ask you, what do you think about the stab change? Let's start with that.
All right, yeah. So previously, through Chivalry's lifespan, you could stab through the backs of your teammates, which to me, this was always a great thing because there's nothing more frustrating in public lobbies than your teammates running right in front of you while you're fighting, and then you hit them in the back, your hit stops, and you get your head chopped off. Like, fucking idiots, stop doing that. So stabbing through them was a great way of, like, just whatever. If they're gonna play stupid, I don't care, I'll just go right through their back. But it hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. So playing, I've noticed that I wind up stabbing, I guess, in little gaps anyway. So for the most part, I don't think it's been that egregiously different. And then when you even it out with the hitboxes being slightly tuned, I feel like you still wind up landing around the same amount of hits. You're getting less stabs that should hit that are being blocked, but you're occasionally like balancing that out now with occasionally hitting a teammate. So I feel like it evened out to about the same amount of stabs hitting.
Yeah,
So
I
I don't
agree
think it's as bad as I expected.
I agree, and you can still heavy stab through your teammate, right? I'm pretty sure you
Yes.
can still heavy stab. So
Yes, you can
like,
still heavy.
I don't think it's even too radical of a change as I thought it would be. To me, like this whole update, combat feels in general the same in 64, man. Except it's been a little bit tougher to 1vx with the new change. I felt it, but I don't know exactly what I'm feeling. You know what I like?
No.
I can feel there's a difference, but I can't really pinpoint exactly how it felt before versus now. But
Yeah.
it feels good. I've enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
stab change is fine. What else? What else was a big change besides the parry box? Was there?
They made it to where you can jab again after you dodge.
Oh yes, yes. It was the reversion of the change from last patch, right?
Half a reversion.
Half of it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They went halfsies.
I
Yeah,
think
that's exactly what this was. They took every combat change made in 2.8 and then they reverted it halfway. Now, I think that 2.8 was brain dead. I think some guy on 2.8 was like, I just want to mess with everyone because I think it'll be funny. And then he did. All of those changes, by the way, made, even though no one asked for them, the casuals didn't ask for them, the competitive players didn't ask for them, genuinely don't understand why. But anyway, they made the hitboxes for the blocking half of what it was in 2.8. And I really don't like that they use words like this because it's just nobody knows how wide it was in 2.7 and no one knows how wide they made it in 2.8. And now, obviously, right now, we don't know how wide they made it in 2.9. And we just have to go off what they say. But there is a history of them making changes or saying they did and then them not happening. Or them not saying that they did something and then it happened. So I really don't like them just like saying stuff. It does feel like they made it, I should say, thinner than it was in 2.8. But I hate having to go off of their word. And I hate that they don't give us any visual at all. It would be so easy to just show me a picture of how wide it was back then and how wide it is now, but they'll never do that. And I do think that it's a good change in 2.9.
I have noticed two things too. Is also that the arrows are definitely hitting me less, especially in a 1vx. I feel like it's made a difference. It's not like you never get bowed anymore. I don't mind the bows as much anymore, to be honest. It's been
the
nice.
auto aim change. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They nerfed auto aim. Or sorry, they nerfed projectile magnetism.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
the
sure everyone loves
projectile-
that. Yeah,
And
good.
it's actually, I feel like it's actually made a difference. And then the second, another thing, shit, I don't remember anymore. What else did they change? They changed one more thing that is kind of big.
they gave you, I feel like no one talks about this,
the
ability to
shields.
pick your
Yeah.
shield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shields.
Which is really
Yes.
cool.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about that change. But I don't hate it. Whether I like it or not, I don't think it matters that much. I think that it's cool, I guess, that now you can choose what shield you have on Guardian or Man-at-Arms, but I don't think that changes too much, to be honest. The 20 damage jab of the light shield is a meme. I don't think it gives anyone a considerable advantage in team objective. It's whatever.
Yeah, I think in TO, the light and medium won't have as much. I'm curious to see in some of the dual servers if you ever see people start going with like a light shield and a warhammer or something now, like because that warhammer slaps and you add those 20
Yes.
finishers off.
This will definitely change duels now that a lot more people are going to be using the 20 damage jab. But by how much, I don't know. And obviously the
Yeah.
devs don't care about duels, so I don't either. So
Yeah,
it's just the truth.
Yeah.
in TO for me, the biggest thing to it is now having the smaller shield, so my vision's not blocked in first person. So to
That
me,
too,
that
yes.
alone is huge. Because I think you guys know for a long time when I would use the Guardian classes or whatever, I couldn't tan the shield. I would just throw it on my back and use it as an arrow blocker, and would just go with the fist. And
I also
sword.
like it for aesthetics, though. Like, I've been using the one-handed spear and light shield, and I think that looks a lot cooler than the one-handed spear and medium shield. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on
I
that
just-
topic.
I just
And
On that
prefer
topic,
medium.
rapier with a buckler now.
Yes,
rather
rapier
than
with a
rapier with
buckler.
this huge fucking shield.
yes, that looks cool. So I don't know. I mean, is it a good change? Yeah, maybe. The way I would have done it is I probably would have not given the light shield to either of them. I would have given the medium shield to
medium.
Guardian, but I wouldn't have given the light shield to either of them because I think people just get annoyed by the 20 damage jab. So, but am I mad about it? No, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Well,
Fun.
to me, it would be more that like the small buckler doesn't really fit the guardian persona, I guess, right? Like,
No, it doesn't.
he's a guardian, but he has just like
yeah.
like
Well,
a parry
you guys-
shield.
I guess you figure you ever see those like when armor was really plated up, they have that tiny shield on the jousters. Maybe that's what it is, like the jousting shield.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just kinda
you
strapped
you
to the
can you can
shoulder.
equip the jousting shield that as a skin.
I think I
on the
saw
light
it in there.
shield.
Yeah, the shield, like the skins for it are pretty sick. Like that they have just in the game overall. So I've never really looked at that stuff because I never used shields. So I was looking through it. I was like, oh, there's actually some pretty cool shit in there. But yeah, and what else? Did we have anything else big for combat?
I think there was one more thing. It was in my head.
The
It
jab, the jab on dodge.
The jab on dodge. Yes,
In
this is a Dave
2.8,
thing.
in 2.8, they changed it to where after you dodge, you can no longer jab. There would be a cooldown on jab, and that would activate whenever you dodged. I didn't like that. I thought it was stupid. Nobody asked for that change. Now they changed it to when you dodge, the jab that you do afterwards will be slower, but you can still do it. I still think that's worse than 2.7, where I could just jab normally after I dodged. But it's a compromise, you know? It's basically like me talking to the brain dead developer and being like, yeah, okay, thank you for appeasing me a little bit. So I'm happy they made that compromise. If that's what I have to deal with, I'll live, you know, that's cool.
Dave, are there any changes you would make if you were like the dev going forward with the combat? Or are you kind of happy with how where it
I
is
think
now?
the combat is in a really good spot right now. I think what I would change is any weapon with stamina drain negation, I would remove that. So there are a few weapons in this game where you lose slightly less stamina when you block an attack than any other weapon. Those weapons are the heavy mace and the poleaxe and the quarterstaff. I would just remove that flat from all of those weapons. Chivalry 2 is a lot better than the other slashers in that when you block an attack, you know exactly how much stamina you lost. Or a round, right? You don't know the exact number, but you got a feel. Like, the longsword does this much stamina damage, the maul does this much, and it's pretty consistent. The fact that there's just some random weapons that, like, reduce that number by 10% or 20%, stupid. Get rid of that. Make it consistent. That's all. But overall, I think the combat's in a very good spot. I think they should be proud. They've been very receptive to community feedback for the most part, and they've made their combat really, really good. And I thank them for that. They usually don't listen to us in a lot of the things. So it's very nice that they allow me to keep my sanity by listening to us for combat. And I'll always be thankful for that.
Yeah, no, I think the combat's in a really, really good state right now. I will say since the patch, I've noticed the servers having some issues. I'm not sure if that's something caused by the patch or we just have more people on and, the hamsters are running at full speed. But there's definitely been some server degradation since the patch came out. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys noticed that too.
Yeah,
Servers are always bad.
I've noticed that, but the most annoying thing, man, is I have to restart my game, and I have a lot of people that want to play with me and chill, but then I have to restart my game, and then we have to get the party together, and then the party system isn't really working that well, and then it's showing that a friend's on your friend list, and then they're not, and then I'm just like, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna go, and then another hour later I have to repeat that process because I have to restart my game again, and then I have to find a good server. And then servers are dying because people are having to restart. I don't know. Maybe I've heard that people don't have this issue at all, and maybe I'm like an ugly duckling here, where
You're not. You're not insane. The
Yeah.
servers suck.
Sounds like user error to me, Scotty.
yeah,
The servers have always sucked, and they will continue to suck.
yeah,
It is what it is.
yeah.
2 years down the line,
not
we
have
know.
to restart my game. Like I don't care about a stutter here and there, but it's like it happens worse. It'll happen once, and then it happens like in a Fibonacci sequence. That's what I've been saying lately. It's like it just gets worse and worse over time. It's happening like 10 times a game and then 20 times a game. Then you just have to restart. So I don't know. But if they fix that, I'll be happy, man. But
All right. Well, unless anyone has anything else to add, I don't know. We can start opening up the floor here.
You can
Get
open
some
it up.
questions going.
questions.
Anyone have any?
we could talk.
questions in
We
the
could
chat?
talk about
I
the
got
next
one
update.
question here from Lasaint. Would it be worth it for a new player to get the battle pass, or is the game not polished / won't be around long enough to promote getting microtransactions?
I think it would be worth it because you probably wouldn't want to farm and then, have to farm again because you didn't have the battle pass. Chivalry 2 can be found very cheap on key sites. Like you could buy it for like $5. So that leaves you a lot of extra spending money to buy the battle passes. Furthermore, I suggest you save yourself money. Buy the King's Bundle. That will give you enough crowns to buy a battle pass. I don't know why. It's so silly.
And yeah, in terms of the game being around long enough, I think Chivalry is here to stay for a while because there's no better alternative at the moment. So all of the people that are playing today will probably be playing in the future forever until there's a
As
game
much
that's
crap
better.
as much crap that we talk about the game, we love the game because the most important part, the gameplay, is so solid and better than everything else that we
Yep.
keep coming back regardless of what issues we face.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's like an
exactly.
addiction, the combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
If
yeah,
you get,
no, that's
if you
until
get
someone does
infatuated
it
with the
better.
combat like we do, you will come back.
Until it does someone does it better, there's going to be no replacement. I was talking to Dave about this last night. I was like, even if we get in a cycle, like the Chivalry 1 came out, then Mordhau came out, was a bit better than that. Then Shiv 2 came out. If we got a Mordhau 2, at least like break it up and give us a next step of the genre before Chivalry 3, that would be wonderful. But I
Yeah.
don't think that's going to happen. I think at this
No
point,
way.
we might be waiting for Chivalry 3 whenever it comes. So we're all going to be here for however many years that is.
And this genre is a bit of a gamble to get into, so no AAA studios are gonna invest in it. And
Yeah.
dude, PAX Day is gonna be sick, man.
I watched some streams on it. I'm really interested in it. And I heard that it ran extremely well, which we've been involved in so many medieval indie games through the last
they
few
never
years,
run
and
well
you
at first,
you never know what you're gonna get, and you expect jank and stuff. So to hear that the game ran really well and looked that good is already a really big plus for what that game could possibly be. So I'm really hoping it turns into something.
Yeah, and I hope it doesn't come out in like 3 years. I hope it's sooner than that. But their alpha is only 2 years old, and people are loving it. And I hopefully it gets out within a year. That would be so nice because we're dying for more medieval games to really dive into. It seems the most promising right now, but.
Casteranka asked why they removed Hippodrome from the server browser. I think because virtually everyone hated Hippodrome universally when it was in free-for-all, like it was server ending. I think if you want to play it now, you have to go to the jousting server.
I'm not
Maybe
sure.
they removed the jousting servers. I'm not sure.
Possibly, I'm
if they
not
did
sure.
remove the jousting servers, it's because they were just RDM fests. In a normal RDM server, if you RDM me, I'll just beat the shit out of you because you're dog shit, and then you'll go on with your day. But I can't really beat you up if you're like on a horse lancing me and one-shotting me. So the duels joust servers just became infinite RDM fests every time. No actual dueling happened there.
Only death.
Only
Only
death.
death and sadness was in the Hippodrome, sadly.
I
And
hated
no
Hippodrome.
hippos.
It was awful. Kukei's asking, can you guys make a quick weapon tier list? Okay, in no particular order. For me, longsword, greatsword, messer, spear, halberd, top 5.
Pretty sure we all have tier lists on our channel, so you can see all of our opinions, like
I need to make
independently.
mine, but-
You might need to make yours, but
Yeah.
like I have mine up. Strider probably has his top 5 up. So you could go look there, but in short, best weapons are spear, halberd, greatsword, messer, heavy mace.
Yeah. For me, longsword, battle axe, spear. Well, spear is just there because it's OP. I don't play with it. Well, I'll just go through what I play with usually. But see, battle axe.
His
and
tier
then
list
I've
is
been-
going to be 1 then.
I've been
One
playing
thing.
poleaxe. I've been playing. Yeah. That's about it. Those are my 2 favorite weapons. That's literally all I play with. Really, is battle axe or longsword. Longsword usually on defense because it's just better feeling than battle axe. Battle axe on attack, baby. That's all you need. There's bow. Yeah, bow, war bow, siege
God.
crossbow.
We're
daggers,
done. Keep it
and-
moving.
Yeah, you,
Next
knew, you knew
question.
Scotty. Scotty, a career shamed man, is going to bring off some of that shit. Oh, man. So, Chillzone said they did remove the jousting servers. Chase is saying that the Danax players are crying right now. And look, Danax is strong, but we all know the Danax one tricks. It's a bit of a crutch. It's a bit of a crutch. We all like some double
Danax
Ds,
is good.
But, Danax is great, but
It's good.
I just roll my eyes when you get the people who only play Danax. Like, I feel like you could get away with getting good at Danax and know nothing about the game's combat.
All you need to do is overhead.
Press G.
And press G, baby. Overhead press
What
or
is
slash.
it's slash, dodge, gamble,
Yeah.
dodge.
The slash
throw.
dodge, dude. There's people that literally will just do this every time. Every time.
Yep. Slash, dodge
That's it.
Away,
Go back,
gamble,
forward.
dodge, throw the axe. Get
Yeah.
in the rhythm. It's the tried and true Danax play. Anyone else have anything?
Let's see. You guys have any questions? I like that they brought back how much damage you did / received and how many kills, takedowns you got in a life. Did they take that away? Is it broken?
What are they talking about?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. You mean just like number of points you got that life? I mean, I think maybe there's a number. Is there like a kill number? Maybe that's not on PC. Is that? Is broken
They show you how many kills you get in the kill feed.
on the on your death screen though. He's talking about
I don't look at that. What's
Yeah,
a death
I don't-
screen?
Maybe, I don't know.
death screen after you die, where it just shows you.
Never seen that in my life.
People always ask me why
Yeah, I'm not
why
sure.
I don't commend people, and I was like, I've never commended someone on purpose. If I
Are you
ever have,
serious?
it was like a rage fucking click on the keyboard and I hit it on accident. So if I commend you, don't feel happy about it. I didn't mean to do it. I don't mean it.
Did they fix the issue where if you hit someone from behind, they don't randomly block it? Not fully. They said they did, or not. I don't even think they said they did, but I think
Back blocking should be fixed somewhat. They made the hitbox for blocking more narrow than it was last update. So ideally, you shouldn't be hitting somebody's block when you shouldn't as often. But
Yeah,
obviously,
I've
the
seen it,
downside
though.
the downside is now that there may be some hits where it looked like they should have blocked it, but they didn't. But I rather have that issue than back blocking, so I don't care.
Oh man, I got a Todd Bot said this Emperor Bubbles guy kind of plays like that. It's so annoying. The Danax, yeah, facts, dude. That's speaking of Danax one tricks. That's the poster child right there, right with his chicken legs and his skirt on.
Yes.
Scarpia asks, how do you deflect an archer attack? You have to time it correctly when the arrow leaves the bow that you throw any attack, and if it's timed correctly, you'll get a counter.
I have a video
the
called
Jedi.
Countering Arrows, and it's literally just a guide on how to counter an arrow. So there you go.
There you go. Dave has found every mechanic in the game and has a guide somewhere on it.
Yep.
Kaz asked, are banners tougher now because of adding the new crossbow?
No.
I'm not sure, but I would assume
they're not.
Yeah.
No. A siege crossbow can two-shot a banner. So when they eventually fix it, you should fear for your banner's life.
Wasn't there a 1v1 horse arena? Yeah, we were just talking about that, right?
We didn't even talk about that. Yes, we should talk about Last Peasant Standing and Duel's Joust are both either not coming or they are going to come in the future.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. Yeah.
Again, no word on that
It was on
either.
the patch notes that we were supposed to have them, but obviously the patch is here and we don't have them, so maybe sometimes in the future, coming soon.
Again, radio silence.
We don't know. Yeah.
We don't even know when the next patch is coming. We have no idea. They haven't said anything.
They're not going to say anything.
I know, it's stupid.
I mean, why would they say anything? They always miss the dates and have to delay them. So I feel like until it's
Because their
ready
new
for
weapon,
validation,
their
they're
new
not going to
weapon
put out a
doesn't
teaser.
work, and people are stuttering, and this, that, and the third. And
Oh, Lord Mark said very soon. All right, inside information
there we go.
here right
That's
now.
nice.
Let's
That's
go,
what I like to
baby.
hear.
Leaks right here on the stream. Love to hear it. He just made himself either a hero or he's going to be the martyr when if like the end of the month comes and there's no update, tar and feather Mark, false information. If you could give a list to the devs on what to add next update, what would it be?
Next update. Okay. I mean, we've already said the same things all the time.
Flail.
Yeah. Flail as the new weapon.
Chant it from the windows, from the high
perfect update?
buildings. Flail.
No, but
That's it. That's all I want.
You know what we're getting next update.
I think we're getting
hippo mounts, yeah.
the club thing,
Hippo mounts.
the new map, and the new battle pass. But
Yeah, no, I
they've been
expect,
talking up the new map.
I expect the new update to be just like this one, except better. A TO map, weapon, battle pass, but a better TO map, not an archer weapon, and then
Facts.
a battle
I
pass.
expect I consider Galen Court and Aberfell to be kind of like the crown jewels of Shiv updates. Like they came out with really great maps, good cosmetics, good weapons. I feel like
Yes.
that's kind of what
I
would expect.
I do have one wish list item, which is probably pretty realistic for them. The new heraldries that they add, they should also add versions of those for the shields. All the shield heraldries.
That would be dope. Yeah.
All the shields that have alternate versions, right? They have all the heraldries, but none of them have the new heraldries. And all the new heraldries are interesting colors, but they never match up with your shield because your shield is only the basic starter heraldries that they had when the game first came out in Galencourt. So I would like, an Agatha shield that has some purple on it to match up with the Bridgetown heraldry, a Mason shield that is black to go with the Bridgetown heraldry, et cetera, et cetera. They should have new heraldry to line up with the heraldry that they released.
Yeah. Grant's saying he's hoping for a new objective type. I am too. I'm hoping that they channel their Torn Banner creativity. I feel like that's what they
And
done
honestly, I just
traditionally.
hope that everything is smooth, man. I just want the update to be smooth and I don't
you've
have
been
to
gaming
restart
long
my
enough to
game.
know there's never gonna
can
be
we
a
just
smooth
get an
update.
optimization
No.
patch? If they just came out and were
They gave us
hey,
that before, the reinforced update.
Yeah, we're just gonna fix everything and everything's gonna be smooth. That's all I want right now.
I
Or a
don't
patch in
like.
between a big.
I like creative objectives too. But if the map is so good, then I don't think I'll really care if the objectives are basic. I think the problem is okay, Montcrux is super short and also doesn't play that fun, and the objectives are basic, When you play Bridgetown, it's also a short map, but at least you get to throw some peasants out some windows at the end. This was dude, plant the bomb twice, and it's bro.
I just feel like with Chivalry, even if it's not that game changing, some of the objectives, just having that original creativity to the maps, like throwing the beehives on Aberfell, people love doing that. How much effect does it have on the map? Very little, but it gives character to the map, and it's something fun to do. I feel like it makes the feel and the vibe of the maps unique, and that's where Chivalry has traditionally done things best. So
Yes.
I'm hoping we get back to that. I mean, maybe they ran out of ideas. I mean, I know it's hard to come up with creative shit.
It's not even just about running out of ideas, because you can take objectives and repurposed them in clever ways. For example, they developed the stones objective on Aberfell, and then they repurposed that mechanic to have an objective on Askendir, where you push down the pillars. And that's like, okay, this is basically the same objective, but it was repurposed in a creative and intelligent way, and so it doesn't feel like I'm doing the same thing, but it still is way more fun than plant the bomb for the 20th time.
Yeah.
And you can do that. And if there's an objective that's like, don't throw the peasants out the window, throw the royal family out the window.
I think with the
that'd be
repurposing
cool.
too, it's also important if you are going to put that stuff that there's variety in the repurposing so that every stage feels different and unique.
Yes.
Like
If
the
I
new
were
map,
them-
I think mostly you're blowing shit up. So that's where it
If
falls
I
a
were them,
little
I would
short.
have the new map have like all the best objectives in one map. So I would have a push objective, like you're pushing some rocks down or something. I would have a throw the royal family out the window on stage 2, and then on stage 3, like I don't know, could steal the pigs, like just like a crazy map full of unique objectives that are insane, and see what happens with that. I don't know.
Oh my god, Repith came out. Wishlist idea cross progression. Oh boy.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, I already feel like I'm gonna get fucking dragged through the street for that topic. Oh man. Kaz wants VIP on VIP. I've heard that a lot. I've
Next
heard
map.
that idea a lot.
Next
be
map.
cool.
It'll
That would
be
be
in
cool.
next map.
All right, well,
The
there we go, Dave, with the call.
clairvoyance and also mischievous means of finding out information. Next map, VIP
Dave.
versus VIP.
Dave's got the whole
That's gonna be dope.
spy crew in Tornbanner Studios.
Yeah.
He planted a mole. All right. I think 8 o'clock. That's unless anyone has anything else. I think that's about it to call it for the episode here, gents.
Yeah, it was
All right,
nice.
then.
We hadn't. It was like 2 months or something since our last one. So
It's been. Was our last one?
I looked at the
What
date.
was our
There's-
last one?
there's
Was
a-
it Bridgetown? I don't.
Yeah. It was probably after.
It's probably the tests for this for this.
Oh
map.
yeah,
Yes.
you're right.
I feel
yeah,
like I
and
was
then that
talking
yeah,
about
and
it,
that
so
was
it's
like
been
the
a
2
while,
month
yeah.
delay. So it has been like 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah, gents, we are trying to branch out and do episodes on other games. So we've been in talks with some other indie medieval games. It's just always a matter of getting the timing, but we are trying to branch out a little bit so that we can put on episodes a little bit more often. But hopefully, Mark said we're getting the update soon, so hopefully we're back here in a few weeks talking about, I don't know, a crazy release trailer and a flail that is coming. Yeah, I know, wishful thinking. But love to all, guys. I'm going to hop in game for a little bit, so I'm sure the other fellas will be doing their thing on stream too. So, I'll be right back, and love to all.